Retired. I'm Mrs. Shirley and I'm retired, but we used to live on a farm with the land right across.
I'm Ed Geezer, I'm retired farmer. My name's Jerry Gross, I'm the mayor of the town at the present time.
I'm Bonnie Zimmerman, I'm city clerk.
I happen to be her mother-in-law. Larry Zimmerman.
I happen to be her husband, Barney Zimmerman, and I'm more or less retired farmer.
Aggie Swear, my husband and his farm supply store here, and I work part-time post office.
Go ahead.
I'm Kate Scheginger. I live here in town. This is my son Shane, my daughter Nicole, and I work part-time post office.
I'm Jay Scheginger, carpenter here in town. Dwayne Reynolds, Philly County Extension Director, and I'm very tired.
You're the current county extension director?
Yes, Jerry, our county had an entry under our economic development group, and Jerry is part of that, so I'm reciprocating today by attending this one.
Okay, maybe just to let all of you know who we are. I'm Ed Henderson. I'm the Area Rural Development Specialist for Northeast Oklahoma. I work for Oklahoma State University Property Extension Service.
I'm Joe Halsworth, and I'm a housewife, and I work part-time at the post office. Retired, a dietitian, I guess. I'm not working at it anymore.
What's your town?
Sioux Rapids, Iowa, between Storm Lake and Spencer.
You had a few more, you had a couple, three more come in back here.
We're just introducing ourselves, Janet.
Janet Henscheid.
What do you do? What's that work?
Work in Jerry's store.
Oh, okay.
Bookkeeper.
Clothing store. She's a bookkeeper.
Lady.
That's just my mother.
And my wife's just pulling in
Okay.
with our two children. The other one's running around already.
I don't think we heard from the man with the gray hair.
I'm Carl Carlson. I'm the driver escort. I'm from Eldora. My job is keep them on time.
That's my mother here taking pictures.
Okay. Okay.
All right, the number one response was a park playground area. And the number two response was a welcome to Westphalia sign. And the third response was maybe clean up our business district.
What were those?
The park, the welcome sign, and our cleanup project. And that was in 1988. And that was a long-range goal for the next 5 years, what they'd like to see. Basically, in 1988, we did our Welcome to Westphalia sign, and we started our cleanup project. And then after our meeting last fall, we said, well, what are we going to do in 1989? So basically what surfaced was to start the park and to continue the cleanup. And also at that time, our gas station was closed, and that was also mentioned as a possible project to do our gas station. But part of the park and cleanup, our official entries this year were this park and then a continuation of our cleanup project. So the seed was kind of planted last fall after our community betterment project. And over the winter, a few individuals that own this property, there used to be a trailer house sitting here and a trailer house sitting there. And the one gentleman moved into a house uptown. Well, actually, they both did. They both built houses and sold their trailers. So there's basically empty lots here. There was a lot of weeds, cement, an old basement, the wells. There was a garage sitting here. He said, if somebody wants to put a park down on our property, we'll donate the land to the city. So the gears got in place, and basically the city said, well, we'll do the legal and abstracting fees if you donate the land. So that kind of went on through the winter. And then we had a meeting in April at the fire hall, and we sent out about 70 letters to basically to the firemen, the athletic board, to senior citizens, to our CYO, which is our Catholic youth group, and to the city council, and then community betterment. And we said we're going to have this was in April, we're going to have a meeting to discuss what we should do with the parks. So we sent out about 70 letters, and I think 40 to 50 people showed up that April night. And we basically discussed that Albert Smiths and Larry Getzner donated some land, and what should we do with it. Well, it looked pretty tough, like I said, the weeds and the cement. And so the first thing we thought we'd do is clean it up. So a local farmer donated his tractor, and the city donated the truck. And one Saturday we got in here and got all the cement out and all the weeds and cleaned everything up. And we appointed a committee that night after that meeting, and we tried to get a representative from each of them groups, firemen, athletic board, CYO. And basically they were the building committee. They felt that let's go all out for this part, and let's do more than just clean up the property for this spring. So the members basically decided, let's build a shelter house this summer. Let's do more than just let's clean it up. So we had a meeting about the first, second week of April. Probably towards the end of April, we did the cleanup. And by the middle of May, we had a bulldozer and a road grader in here. We took out a fence over here, and we went clear back in this field and brought in dirt, made waterways to get this water flow to go down. Because actually there was a ditch running almost on the other side of this cement here. So we didn't want that water running through here. We wanted it over there, more of a natural flow. So we hired a contractor to do some dirt work to get everything leveled off. Basically that took 2 days. And then so that was about the middle of May. And then decided to start the building of it. We probably didn't have any money to do a lot of this, you know, so most all of it was all volunteer work, even the construction of this shelter house here. We said, well, should we just make a shelter house and add restrooms later? But it was decided, let's do the restrooms and incorporate it into the shelter house. So we had Jay Scheckler, the main carpenter, and then a lot of volunteers. And then we started like June 1st, and within 7 days, the structure was completed. So it was a real speedy project, we thought. Actually, some of this cement foundation was the old foundation of the garage that was here. So we saved some money on that. We did add some cement here where we put the restroom. Well, before we built it, we said, well, this is going to be we have some German tourism projects, which I'll mention later, but if we're going to make a German heritage park, how can we make the shelter look German? You know, there's only so much you can do, but actually, like the heavy beams is typical of German architecture. If you walk around later, like the outside, the stucco is German, and the very steep roof. A lot of people question why we have such a steep roof, but the very steep roofs are typical of German architecture. So, number 3 things we tried to incorporate in the shelter house. We're a very German community, German Catholics, over 117 years, so we wanted to emphasize the German part of our heritage. If you remember this spring, it was really dry yet. You know, we were in the midst of the drought we thought around here, so end of May, some guys checking their seed company here south of town donated some seed. 2 farmers came in with their seeder and a disc and started seeding lawn, and we hadn't had a rain in 2 months. And some on the committee felt they were probably, you know, this isn't going to do any good, but we got a few rains, and as you can see, the grass got real nice this year, so we're kind of happy with that. At this meeting in April, we decided we'd have a fundraiser on June 24th, and so by June 24th, basically the lawn was seeded and the shelter house was up, and it was all done through volunteer work. And basically our expenses were the lumber and the nails. And, so we had middle of June, this was completed, so we thought, well, we'll have a fundraiser. We had planned that for a couple months. The firemen, a couple members of the firemen were in charge of that, and people donated pork. And also, we had beer that day. People donate some pigs beer. And we sent out 140 letters, and in each letter I put a ticket in there. We charged $25 a couple and $15 for single. And I put the ticket already in there. I said, and a self-addressed envelope, if you do not wish to donate or come, send your ticket back. And I only got 15 letters back out of the 140. 125 people sent money back. So prior to June 24th, we raised $2,500 within 1 week. I sent them out about June 16th, and by June 24th, we had $2,500 raised. 10 people donated $100, 20 people donated $50.
How many donated?
10 people. 20, 50. 2025, that was in addition to their meal ticket, basically. So the day of the fundraiser, over 100 people also brought their $25 meal ticket per couple. So we raised actually another $2,500 the day of the fundraiser.
So you actually raised $5,000?
We almost raised $5,000 just basically through people coming the day of the fundraiser and then the response prior to the fundraiser. We're real happy with that. We had an excellent turnout that day.
What was the cost?
Probably, actual cost, cash cost, probably $8,000.
Materials?
Materials, cement, the restrooms, the stools, the sinks, the cat work was $300-400. Actual, probably everything cash outlay at this park was probably $8,000, and we figured probably a good $3,000 to $4,000 of non-cash donations. The grass seed was donated. The 50 trees on the border here were donated and planted by that individual. The carpenter that did the work made the picnic tables and donated the nails in the picnic tables. The painting, Jerry Gross, our mayor, did the painting. What is a ton of things. The sand was all donated for the volleyball court. The contractors that did the plumbing and the sewer sold everything at cost and knocked $100 off their bill besides.
Marvin Mushett.
Yeah, the electrician knocked everything off. There was some poles here running, some RAC electric poles, and they came in and buried their line for us, which they probably wouldn't have done because there's only one other line house on their line, so they spent many thousands of dollars to bury some lines to just one house in this service. So that we thought that was so we got rid of some poles and got the wiring underground. The telephone company helped us out.
Bulldozer.
With,